Welcome to Intuitive Seek. My name is Mary Treen, and every week I aim to bring you a grounded approach to all things intuition. Through personal stories, experiences, and practices, offering energetic reflections to help you discover, connect, and fully realize how your unique power of intuition is your own greatest teacher. Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to October 2023, the energy impressions. All right, yeah, I'll say it just like I say it every time, especially this year. Can you believe that it is already October? We're in October. It is October 1st as I record this, and wow. I am really grateful for everyone who listens to Intuitive Seek. Thank you for reaching out to me about the episodes. Thank you to the ones who were asking for more episodes. That was like kind of an amazing development, not something that I really assumed. So thank you. And yes, I am always aiming to do, well, at least 2 a month. And one of those recently has been more meditation, but I do those not necessarily because, I'll just give them a meditation. No, I really feel called to offer the meditations. Like it feels like, okay, I think we need this. As, the listeners of Intuitive Seek, which I'm a part of too, it felt like, okay, we need those. We need the solar plexus. We need the heart meditation, those healing meditations. And the feedback from them have been so lovely. So if you have not listened to them, go have a listen. They're so relaxing. There's nothing you need to do. They don't involve like a ton of visualization. They really are to calm and allow yourself to feel your own energy balancing and grounding and centering and all the good things. So yeah, if you have not listened, I encourage you to, if you feel like you want to, of course. But yeah, September was a really fast month. For me, there was so many things that happened, but nothing that fully, changed anything. It's just like one of those months that was like, okay, let's just keep going. I was quite busy with clients. I was working on a lot of different projects. I was studying something that I'll share later. And yeah, it's just been, I have a new thing that I'm doing as well. So yes, it has definitely been an interesting time. And I'm curious about September for you because with the September energy impressions, it was really all about coming back to the language of your intuition, coming back to knowing when to trust your intuition. And when you look back at September, did you have opportunities to really see, okay, do I trust my intuition here? Is this my intuition? Or is it my fear? Is it my ego? Is it my doubt? Did certain things not pan out the way you wanted them to, or that you were kind of thinking or visioning of the outcome, but really it did not happen that way at all? Was that another lesson for you to feel into why you were following your intuition to that, even though the outcome was not what you wanted? Or were you following a different voice inside? Were you following that voice of fear or anxiety or doubt, of uncertainty, of also maybe other people's voices, maybe someone in your family that you want to make really proud, or a friend, or even a friend that you don't even know anymore? Like, was there maybe a different voice that you understood was your intuition, but in the end, when you look back at September, maybe it wasn't. And, I have a big example of that. If I can give you an example, just very, off the top of my head, the big example that comes to me for me in my life was my old career, because I really did that because of everybody else around me telling me that I was really good at it. I thought that being a good employee, a good manager, a good executive, a good coordinator, there were so many different roles that I had, a good trainer. I mean, there were so many different roles that I had because I would have invitations to do it in a little bit of a different way because somebody else was telling me that that is the way that I should be doing something, that is the work I should be doing. That's where I should put my focus. And I was listening to everything but the voice of my intuition. But I thought my intuition was, at that time, before I really understood what it was and how I could connect to it and how it spoke to me, I thought that my intuition was like a group project, that it was like something that, we all get together, all the smart people in my life, the people that I respect and love and want to impress, and all those types of things, outside things, the things that some would say kind of like the glitter, but not really the gold, the things that made me feel worthy and validated and loved, but they weren't actually anything about me. It was all what I could do for someone else. And there's nothing wrong with feeling good about doing something for someone else. But when that's your sole place where you're getting the fuel to, stoke your fire, that life force inside, then it's not going to last very long. It's pretty temporary. So yeah, before we jump into October energy impressions, really take a moment this first week of October and feel into how much better you understand what is your intuition and what isn't. And be proud of yourself. So often we really move so quickly. I know in this time that we're living in right now, it can be really difficult to take a little bit of hindsight, look back, see what you learned, celebrate what you discovered, what you remembered, how it helped you move through your month better, to make some choices perhaps. Or if there was a choice that you made and you look back and you say, oh, probably wouldn't do that again. Well, that's also a way for you to understand what is your true intuitive voice. That beautiful, calm, clear, some would say knowing, that we get, where it's, I don't know exactly why, but yeah, I got to do this or I can't do that. And I hope you can be, a little bit proud of yourself, hopefully a lot proud of yourself, or at least taking even a moment of time to check in with, what does your intuition really feel like when it's speaking to you, when it's telling you something true? How do you know? Because it's so different for everyone. So it's celebrating that unique way that you connect to your own energy and that inner guidance to your heart. It's fantastic, because when you can celebrate your own unique way, you can respect the unique way that other people do as well. So it works for everyone, in my opinion. But I will say, for me, one thing that my intuition was really telling me to do because I always focus on whatever I share here, it is a focus for me for the month as well. And what I realized was, a lot of the offerings, services that I had created over the past like year and a half, some of them were not resonating with me anymore. So some of you had signed up for my dream container where we worked on you understanding kind of how your intuition speaks to you through your dreams. I'm not offering that anymore. We can still do them in the sessions, but not in that specific way. It just came to an end. And maybe I will in the future, but for now, what I really understood when I got that, I was like, oh, there was this feeling from my intuition, and I really felt strongly from that feeling. It was, I need to make some space. So for Dream Light Healing, I'm really focusing on my 4-month beautiful intuitive healing journey. Such like one of my absolute favorite things to do because we really go on a journey together. And after that 4 months, the transformation is incredible. And it is, and this can sometimes sound not authentic when I hear other people say it, but I hope you can hear the authenticity in my voice when it is such an honor to do this with the people that have trusted me to guide them through this intuitive journey, to really understand that they hold all of the keys that they're searching for. And some people really discover their purpose. Some people really discover their full needs that they need to take care of so that they can live a life present for themselves and their family. Some people discover new ways that they want to work, new ways that their work is evolving. It's so beautiful. So that really is my focus right now. That is what my intuition was telling me. Focus on the beautiful people that come into your life that need your support and that you want to help for the 4-month journey. And then also my one-on-one sessions. So you can always book just a single one-on-one intuitive energy healing session, my signature session, as I call it. But yes, I really realized, especially with the dream part, because sometimes dreams are a part of it. They're unique to each person, the sessions, but I realized that the energy healing needs to be a part of it. The energy healing is such a big piece of the work. And I can compartmentalize it and offer different facets of it. But the most transformational, impactful, the most powerful is when I blend all of those modalities together. All of the things that I do together. And then I also offer the distance, which is a beautiful thing. If you have never tried any kind of energy healing, it's my lowest price point as well. So much more accessible. And it's also really great to do as like a recharge, as a tune-up, as something that you give yourself in between your sessions. And that can be sessions with me, or maybe with your therapist or acupuncturist, anyone who really supports your mind, body, and spirit. The distance ones are beautiful for that. I offer you a reflection of your energy and a beautiful kind of detailed audio recap after your distance session. But during it, you get to be at home, not on Zoom, not on the phone, all by yourself, receiving, and you get to be super cozy and experience it. And I have had many people who told me after were so skeptical that they would be able to kind of feel anything because what are we even doing? It's very hard to wrap your mind around. But I haven't had one person say that they didn't receive anything from it. Like they really are beautiful. So that's why if you go to my website, you don't see so many different offerings anymore, because I felt called from my intuition in September to bring it all back to not the basic, but the foundation, the most, impactful, most transformational, the most powerful way that I can support you with all of the energy work that I offer. Because it is a unique blend. I've been told over and over again, and I know that to be true. So if you have been feeling called to book with me, start maybe with the distance one, or maybe one of the one-on-one sessions. Or if you're really feeling that call to, no, let's make a change. I need somebody to help me. I need somebody to get me to remember what that inner guidance really is saying. Then I can help you with that too. Especially if you're going through a change in your life. Any kind of new season, new cycle, that really seems to be the best time to focus on your energy and releasing what is not yours and really accepting all parts of yourself and remembering who you are at an energetic level. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I did not know I was going to go on that little rant. I guess it wasn't a rant. Go on a little sidetrack, little sidebar of my work and what I had kind of changed in September. So thank you. Thank you for letting me share that always. I know this is my podcast, but when they are the energy impression episodes, I do like to jump into the impressions, as quickly as possible. But I don't exactly know how long I've been talking for because I have my screen covered, so I will just assume that it hasn't been too long. And if it has, thank you for your forgiveness. Okay, so before we jump in, I do feel like maybe let's take a few breaths. I know we do that sometimes. And let's just do a little bit of it right now. So whether you're driving or walking or cleaning, just focus on breathing in and breathing out. Maybe not even too deep of a breath. Just focus on where your breath is. And take a breath in and let that breath out. And take a breath in and let that breath out. And take a breath in and let that breath out. Okay, so October 2023. When I tuned in through my meditation to feel, okay, what do we need to remember this month? What can help us kind of connect to what we already know, to connect to our intuition better so that we can navigate through the month with a little bit more ease? I was looking forward to recording this. And this morning, I had a little animal friend come visit me on the windowsill of my kitchen. We have a pretty big window in the kitchen. We live in the top of a very old house. It's about 120 years old now, all made of oak, which is very cool. And it has these big, like, heritage windows. And on the sill outside this morning, there was a flicker woodpecker. And I don't know if you've ever seen a flicker woodpecker before, but they're kind of medium-sized birds, and they're kind of beigey brown, and they have different speckling all over them. So they look kind of spotted and speckled, and they have kind of a soft red or orange on the back of their head. And then on their breast, they have this beautiful black crescent moon, like an upside down crescent moon. But then when they open their wings, they reveal these gorgeous golden, orangey red, pretty orange to me. Like they look pretty, like almost a neon orange feathers under their wings and under their tail. And I was so surprised to see this flicker because in the fall of 2020, I was visiting family and a flicker came a few days in a row at night into the same place in the entrance of the house. And there's a window at the top so we could see it. And it was so beautiful. And after the third day, we looked and one of those orange feathers had fallen. And so I got to keep one of the orange feathers. I don't keep every feather that I see. Recently, about a month ago, I was taking a beautiful walk just along the shore, and I saw at my feet this giant, like it was really big, this big eagle feather. And it was brown and it had like a little bit of white just at the top, but it was so big. It was obviously an eagle feather. And I know that often when we see something that is so beautiful like that, we want to take it. But the eagle feather, I didn't feel like I should take. I really felt from my intuition, I felt a intuitive pull of, oh no, that's just for you to see. So maybe just a little sidebar. Maybe that's why I'm telling you this. To really pay attention to when you see something in the natural world, something beautiful, and you want to have it. And yeah, there's a lot of, implications when you start going into the whys of why we do want to do that. But just the focus of looking into the intention of why. Maybe it's enough to just look at it and see it. Maybe you can leave it. Maybe you can leave it for someone else that maybe needs it more, or maybe it's a sign for them. And if you took it, they wouldn't be able to see it. Maybe whenever they saw an eagle feather, they would remember one of their loved ones. So not in like an altruistic type of way of, I would never, check in with yourself. Because the flicker feather, that beautiful bright orange feather, where it's brown on the one side, you turn it over and it's this iridescent, gorgeous orange, that felt like a little present from the flicker from 2020. The flicker, a lot of symbolism around the flicker woodpecker is about new cycles of growth, getting into a new rhythm, creativity, a new creative rhythm, something new kind of growing and bursting from your life that you are creating and a part of. So much action. And wow, if I look back at the 3 years since then, yeah, a lot of things, a lot of new things, a lot of new growth, new business, new podcast, so many new things. I started writing and sharing my writing. I mean, I always wrote, but I never shared it. So yes, a lot of new growth. So when I saw the flicker this morning, it really made sense to me. I thought, oh, this is perfect. I'm recording October today. Here is a beautiful animal that I saw that I saw 3 years ago around the same time. So this is a time of growth. For sure. It was what I was already feeling, and I'm sure you are too. But if you needed a little bit more validation, and if this resonates with you, yeah, right now is a time of growth, a new cycle, new rhythm is happening. We're kind of moving away from that in between. Because in September, you may have come much closer to what your intuition is asking you to do. So then, now the responsibility, in a good way, not in a pressure way, but now the responsibility is keep trusting, keep growing, keep following, but really make sure that you are aware of your intentions. So I had some lovely time with the flicker. They stayed for a little bit, flew to the roof on the next building, stayed there for a little bit, and then flew onto the roof. And it was just so cool to see the flicker. So cool. And if you don't know what they look like, look up the flicker woodpecker because they're very beautiful. And it's really that flash of orangey. Some are more red, but this one was extra orange, just like the one that I saw in 2020. And it's just, there's so many beautiful ways to look at that. But another way is to, look at the fire you have and that creative spirit and that expression that may be hidden in your own quote unquote feathers. And how can you spread your wings and take that leap? Really move to fly so that you can share all parts of you, especially that creative energy, because it can be so hard to share that part of ourselves. I know it still is hard for me. But I know that when we get into that kind of uncomfortable, unfamiliar part of that expression, then our confidence comes when we do express it. We don't get that feeling beforehand. It comes from the action, which I'm sure you've heard many times. But a good reminder on that. What leap can you take? Where are you being asked to fly? Where you're really showing all of your unique feathers. You know what it is. I know you know. So after that very sweet and powerful visit from the flicker, so fun, so beautiful, such a great reminder of all the growth of the last 3 years to celebrate too, but also, really acknowledge the endings and the beginnings, to really look back at the last 3 years. After that, I went into my October meditation. So at the beginning of sharing more deeply with the energy impressions of October, I do want to say, as always, take what you need, take what resonates, leave the rest. It's not about telling you what to do or what's going to happen. No, this is about you connecting to what you already know, connecting to that beautiful voice of your intuition, and allowing these energy impressions to inspire you. Inspire action, inspire something new, inspire maybe an ending, to inspire you to know that you can trust yourself to do what you need to do this month. So October is really feeling like that new cycle, that new rhythm, new cycle of growth, a month of change. But in almost, and not meaning to rhyme, but in a kind of strange way, but in the best way, the best kind of strangeness that makes you look at something a little bit different. And the words that came were really beautiful because it was about looking for the whispers and the hints and really listening along the way in October, being acutely aware of how you listen to yourself, but to others as well. Because October really feels like it is a time of focus, a time to focus, a time to thank yourself for all of the dreaming and seeing the big picture and big visions and being able to see perspectives and other people's perspectives and shift your own perspective and understanding how you are a part of the whole and all the things that we get when we really open up our view. But in October, you can now focus in, laser in, zero in on the thing or things you have been really feeling the pull to give your full attention to. As I was saying before, last month in September, it was really a time to understand what is your intuition and what is not, and how you can really trust and know when to trust that it is your intuition. It is that gut instinct. So now in October, you're going to utilize that new depth of trust, because it's time, perhaps, if this resonates, it's time to follow that trust. Because trust is a momentum. The energy of trust is a moving energy. Just like the confidence comes with the action, so does the trust. It has a velocity to it, kind of all on its own. And this is the month that you can really get into the rhythm of your trust, to acknowledge and trust the whispers, to acknowledge the hints, to not just dismiss them or shake them away, but to listen, and really listen by maybe creating action on those whispers and those hints that you are deeply listening to. And keep track of them. That's what really felt was important this month, was a big piece. That when you do hear and listen to those whispers, and maybe it won't be with your ears, maybe it will be in a different way, maybe your heart, maybe a real knowing in your gut, in your beautiful little belly, maybe your solar plexus, maybe those hints are kind of rocking around your mind, but keep track of them. When your mind keeps coming back to the same thing, take a note. When people around you, or just like the random person at the store, kind of brings something up or like near you, but not to you, but it's the same thing you keep hearing about, one of those weird times where you think, why do I keep getting told about daisies or something? Because by keeping track of them, of when you're really listening and acting on these hints and these whispers, then you can look back at the end of the month and you can learn so much about that new cycle of growth that you're in, that new rhythm. So October is kind of like a month where we get to be a detective with the sole purpose of making sure that we are paying attention to what is happening around us and for us. To take those notes, to really pay attention to the whispers and the hints. And even though you may not be always using your ears for this may be a knowing. This also feels like a call to switch things up a bit. And that means if you always listen to music or a podcast when you go for walks, or when you're cleaning, or when you're driving, this would be the month to not. And not every time, but if you can, once or twice or 3 times, not listen to something, not put your earbuds in and put on that podcast or the music, but just allow yourself to be without the noise, to be with your own energy, so that you can really listen deeply, even while you're doing like pretty monotonous things. Because those are often the times when we get the inspiration, when the whispers get louder, when we are driving that same route, when we go into, I believe they're called like a theta state, where we're in that muscle memory, where we don't have to focus as much. So there's more space to receive inspiration. But if we fill that space with somebody else's voice, it's really difficult to kind of differentiate between those whispers and the loudness of somebody else telling you a big story. So this month, if you can, October is a time, and even if it feels like so boring and you don't want to, try it at least once and just see what kind of ideas you get. See what you remember. Just see what happens. But yeah, if you really have not done that in a while, this is the month to do it. And even tell yourself, if you are resisting not listening to a song or listening to a podcast, tell yourself, well, I'm a detective, so I'm going to, I'm on the job right now. I can't I can't listen to something because I need to be listening. I need all the ears because we listen with much more than just our ears. So if you are resonating with that, then yes, please. I would love to hear how that goes. And if you're not, if this is confusing, what do you mean? How am I listening without ears? I hear you. Okay, I did not mean to. I understand. I understand. Did not mean to make a pun there. But if you are feeling that right now, that would be a great opportunity for you to put your timer on for like 3 minutes. Close your eyes and just bring all of your awareness to your heart, to the beating of your heart, and say to yourself, this is a little exercise, little practice. Say to yourself, I am ready to listen. And then just be there for 3 minutes. If 3 minutes feels like, oh no, that's too long still, 1 minute. Just put the timer on for something. And just see what happens, what you discover. Just like I said, with the driving or the doing chores or, going for a walk, see what kind of inspiration you get, what you remember, what you think about, who you think about. A great time to really pay attention and listen. But also in October, with that listening piece, pay attention to how you listen to other people. I'm sure you've heard before, try to actively listen so you're not just thinking about what the next person is going to say or what you're going to say next, but really listen and listen with your whole being. Listen with your heart. And that doesn't have to make sense to you, but you can go in with that intention and just see what happens. How is it different? Because when we really listen to each other, especially when it's not specifically only the words, but the body language and the cadence and the way their eyes look and their mouth moves and all the things, their energy, the way their heart is feeling to you when you're listening to them. That's a whole nother way to listen. And that is how we create connection too. So listening, huge in October, huge, very big. And that makes a lot of sense to me because we're in this new cycle of growth. If we're in this new cycle of growth, this new rhythm, this new cycle, we better be listening because things may feel unfamiliar and uncomfortable. And it is very easy to step off of that cycle of growth and just say, no, not easy enough. No, thank you. But life is about movement and change and saying yes to things that you maybe want to say no to. So, how can you live more in October, but in a really grounded way? And listening is a very grounded practice because you have to be here. You have to be in the present. You have to be with yourself, your whole self. And if you're with someone else, you have to be with them too. So, a great way to be very present this month. So, I'm really excited about October. I love the idea of kind of shifting the way that we listen, shifting our practices to listen easier, to listen differently or in a different way, and to really connect with what this new cycle of growth is asking. Connecting to the little whispers and the hints, the signs, and keeping track of them, being your own little detective, being more curious about things that look or feel more strange. And that can be kind of a very common thing, but it might feel strange because it might be new. It doesn't have to be something crazy different. It could just be strange to you. So be open to more of the strange this October. And now that I say that, Halloween is at the end of October. So yes, could be that strange around that fun time, but it really feels like more of a call to open up, be focused, and really listen so that you can keep going on the cycle of growth. So that all of that dreaming and visioning and planning, let's get it going in October. Let's go. It's time. It's time to go. And where are you going? Well, you'll know because you're listening to those whispers and the hints and you're following it. And I'm excited for you. Okay, so I know sometimes I sprinkle in the intuitive questions, the journal prompts, or you could answer them as a voice note. This time I felt called to do them at the end. So, if you do have a preference, you can let me know because nobody has said which one they like better. So I just kind of go with the way it feels each month. So this month, here are some lovely intuitive questions that you can answer again as a journal kind of prompt or answer in a voice note to yourself. But these will help you kind of anchor into more clarity for how you will navigate and work through the month of October. So the first intuitive question for October 2023 is, how are you feeling called to express yourself, your true self, more? What guidance have you not been listening to? And where are you being called to focus? And the second question, what kind of metaphorical storm, symbolic storm, have you been through recently or that you're maybe feeling like you're in right now? If you can remember that weather storm systems, they really help clear the air, scatter seeds, makes the soil more nourishing. There is some life-giving impact that the storms do provide. So, can you listen to those kind of shifting winds and hear and see what was or is happening for you from that storm? And if it's too difficult to kind of think about it that way because maybe you're still in the thick of it, maybe it's way too tough and it's been tough and it still is tough, and you're like, no, that is the most annoying question you could possibly have asked me. then that means that's a call in October, and maybe right now, to just see how you can give yourself more love and more compassion, and how you can trust yourself just a little bit more. Trust that what you're feeling is how you're meant to feel, and trust that what you are doing is what you are meant to do. How can you give yourself more? Because love and compassion, very easy to give to others, much, much more difficult to give to ourselves. And if you can kind of look at what that storm is given to you or for you, happened for you, then also don't leave this part out. How can you also give yourself more love and compassion? How can you trust yourself more? And number 3, how can listening help you understand yourself and others better? And can you listen with more than just your ears? What does that even mean to you? And really allow yourself to answer this like as abstractly as possible. Because an answer will come that you need to know, but it may not make sense as soon as you write it down or say it. So allow it to really be a prompt, to prompt you, inspire you to get to the truth of what you needed to remember or know. And remember that when you're listening to others and you want to listen with more than just your ears, and you're kind of thinking and feeling into how you can do that and how you do that, can you really listen to those whispers of others in between their words? And maybe it's kind of their heart whispers or their soul whispers. It reminds me of something I thought about recently, where when I or anyone else, when I have heard people really talk about something they want to do, but they haven't really done anything about it yet, it's that old kind of cliche of all talk, no action. I was thinking about that. And when I listen to somebody, all talk and no action, or myself in the past, all talk, no action, the real whispers in between all of that talk, I believe, are really that they need attention. They want to be seen. That I needed attention, that I wanted to be seen. And if it's talking about something like really creative, but they haven't done it yet, maybe they don't actually want to do that creative thing. But maybe those whispers in between the words are about wanting to be seen as the creative person, to want to be seen as more intelligent than they feel they are seen. So in October, how can you listen to the deeper unspoken words from yourself and others? Because that will really help you in this new cycle of growth, and to continue that momentum of trust and following your intuition and just taking time to live in the present and be in October, to be in it and be inspired by it. And that's the point of these energy impressions, is how can you really live in the now, but actively, because it's all we have. So I hope that you did get a little bit of inspiration, and this helped you get more excited about October, and maybe gave you more ideas right now that you want to do. And yes, if you would love to share them, I would love to hear them. I always love hearing from you, because remember, I record this on my own. So I am talking to the ether. I mean, I'm talking to you, but it's really nice when you guys talk back. Very, very appreciated. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Intuitive Seek. I would love to hear again if you resonated with the energy I am feeling and moving through for October. And if you have any thoughts or questions, please don't hesitate to send me a message. Like I said, you can send it to me through my website, treenlight.com, or the easiest way is just follow me and message me on Instagram at treenlight.healing. All of those notes to click are in the show notes. So just look under where you're listening right now and you should be able to find them. And if you're curious about working with me, I do offer, like I said before, one-on-one sessions, distant healing remote sessions, and my 4-month healing intuitive journey. And it's really easy to book your free clarity consultation through my website or book any of your sessions as well. And when you do book, if there isn't a time that works for you, just send me a message. I'm pretty flexible. I will always try to accommodate because I work with people in many different time zones. So, yeah, do not hesitate to reach out if you don't see the day or time that you really, really prefer. And again, I will leave all of those links in the show notes. And you'll find also the link to sign up for my newsletter. Please join. So many fun things. And every 2 weeks, you get my Lighthouse letter, which is the intuitive energy update. Hugely appreciate if you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. I believe it's called following now. So follow wherever you get your podcast. And if you feel like you really want to give me a little extra gift, then I would love it if you shared this episode with a friend or if you left a review. So thank you so much again. Be kind to yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.
Hi, Auntie Mary. I just wanted to say something very, very meaningful. Cat.